Thank you for joining us to discover how NetSuite empowers the modern CFO. Joining me is James Alsbrook.
Morning, Nigel.
Morning, who is the CFO here at JCurve Solutions. James, thank you for joining us. What do you think helps the CFO be more successful?
Nigel, for me, it's summarised in one word, it's data. There's so much data out there. It's knowing about what is the right data, what do you need to look at to be a forward-thinking CFO. From a data perspective, it's making sure the data is real-time. You need the right data at the right time. Mm-hmm. Data needs to be easily accessible, and you need to have confidence that the data that you're looking at is accurate and you can rely on.
Yeah, good point. So why is having the right technology a crucial ingredient for success?
So the right technology needs to give you real-time access to data. It needs to be easily accessible, as I said. It needs to be accurate. I've got to have the right confidence that the software that I'm relying on from a business perspective is accurate. That data is used for forecasting, so I need to make sure that the software, the data that it's giving me, enables me to make the best and most accurate forecasts I can. The right software, it's going to allow businesses to grow. So at JCurve Solutions, we're all about growing businesses, but we don't want to be implementing new software once every second day. We want to sort of have software that's going to grow with our business. The right software is going to mitigate risks, which is why we think NetSuite is the perfect solution both internally for JCurve Solutions and also our solution of choice for our customers.
Well, I think that's a great introduction to James Alsbrook. Thank you. I'll just move into a little bit about JCurve. So JCurve Solutions is a publicly listed Oracle NetSuite 5-star partner. We are the only reseller of who can access all the NetSuite platforms from JCurve ERP, the mid-market editions, and Suite Success, which is one of their latest products. JCurve Solutions has over 600 successful ERP implementations under their belt, making us the largest partner in the world. The largest partner in the world, James.
We certainly are. By customer count, we are.
Yes,
over 600
exactly right.
Customers.
Our customers range from financials only customers, wholesale distribution, manufacturing, services, food and beverage, small single entity type companies to large award-winning multi-entity, global organizations. So we really range in our breadth of customers, and probably one of the as part of the sales team, one of the really good things about being in the sales team working at JCurve Solutions is that we have got consultants that have worked on every single type of business. So when you actually, come in and we do an implementation with you guys, we can use so many companies as like history and use that, the referenceability, but just knowing how they actually do their business. We don't just have a whole bunch of really intelligent people that can come in there and put a whole bunch of data on your screen. We understand and we can consult and we can help you become better. Just moving on. So this is like the agenda we're going to go through. It's just high level. We'll touch on as much as this as possible. James, I think we can probably make a start, and I'll just share my screen. I just won't be a second. And
So what Nigel's going to show here, it's not my CFO dashboard. It is a demo dashboard, but we're literally showing you NetSuite and how it would function for you guys potentially as our customers, as future customers.
Yeah, so probably just some real generic stuff about NetSuite before we start, just so that everyone knows. NetSuite is a completely cloud-based product, so you will always be on the latest version of NetSuite. So for those of you who are on version 10.8 of whatever software you're using now and someone else on version 11.3, the difference is with NetSuite, everyone is using the same version at the same time. So being a truly cloud-based product means that one, you get 2 upgrades per year. Those upgrades normally come in at
2 o'clock in the morning, pretty seamless. It's tested beforehand, but they just happen in the background.
Do you get plenty of notice?
At least a month or 2.
Yeah.
So you do the testing in the background. It's seamless.
Great. So with NetSuite, just quickly, I've just logged into netsuite.com on my homepage here. So I'm just at netsuite.com. So to get into your business, you go to netsuite.com. You will log into a screen over here, and then you can log into your business. When you've logged into your business, just so you know, I've assumed the role of a CFO in this. So this dashboard is going to be a CFO style dashboard. As James said earlier, it is a demo dashboard. So the information on this dashboard is not, any particular companies, and it might look a little funny in some places, but I'm sure you can get around that. When you log in, you can see over here that I've logged in as a CFO. All these different roles here, these are just based different permissions and so forth. So for instance, logging in as a CFO is very different from a sales rep. So a sales rep can't see much money's in the bank, for instance, which you can see here, whereas a CFO can, right? So that's just permissions around how someone interacts with the solution. On your dashboard, there are three major areas that we need to talk about. The first one are reminders. So reminders are things that, based around an event that happens in your business, you want to be told something. So for instance, let's say you're a sales manager in an organisation, or even as a CFO in the organisation, and you wanted to know if you've got customers who are buying less of one particular category of product of yours. And let's say you want to set up a reminder that if someone buys over a 3-month period, every month they're buying 5% less in that particular category, you can have that pop up on your dashboard. James probably uses more for expense management and those types of things, but reminders are based on an event. Yeah. The next thing you have on your dashboard are shortcuts. So you can see here that these are shortcuts to common things that CFOs will use: closing periods, balance sheets, income statements, trial balances, and so forth. So by clicking through to any of these here, they'll open straight up into that report, so you've got it there. And the last thing that people not generally put on their dashboard are metrics. So metrics can be things where you want to look at a particular indicator. Let's say in this case we're looking at accounts receivable, and you can see here today versus same day last month. So today was 106,000, and same day last month was 68 grand. So you can see our accounts receivable is increased, and we need to probably action and try to get some of that money into the bank. So they're the three different types of metrics that you will generally have on your, or not metrics, sorry, the three different types of things you'll generally have on your dashboard. So James, probably best thing to start off with is you get up in the morning, you get to work, you have your coffee, you sit down at a computer. What are you looking at?
Nigel, my day from a work perspective starts well in advance of getting into the office and having a coffee. I've got a reasonably long commute, which sort of the beauty of NetSuite, I've got internet connection on my phone, literally the same screen that you showed earlier. I sit on the train, can log into NetSuite and have a look at my reminders. I can have a look at how the business is going from a profitability perspective, how many sales we've made. I can really plan out my day. I don't need to be in the office. I can do it from anywhere at any time. If I've got internet connection, I'm good to go. So things that I'm looking at, debtors, cash position, expenses, trends, anything and everything. As I mentioned earlier, data's power. And look, the beauty of NetSuite is the dashboard. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I spend most of my day looking at, apart from a large number of meetings. But at any one particular point in time, within a couple of minutes, I can get a real feel for how we're going as a business and potentially what I need to action. So you mentioned earlier that debtors had significantly increased. I might need to spend an hour or two speaking to my financial controller about what we haven't collected, or me personally rolling up the sleeves and collecting some debt.
Making some phone calls yourself.
Making some phone calls. So look, it's really about sort of that, just the easeability. So the dashboard shows quickly within the snapshots, but then I can drill down into, which I know we'll talk about a bit later.
Well, yeah, so talking about drilling down and so forth, I might just open up, say, like your income statement or a profit and loss statement. So one of the things that you mentioned is, when you're talking about this, is you'll often look at how your business is going. So I assume that means your reports and so forth. You might look at different reports, and you can see what's actually, going on in your business in a very quick way. So I've just opened up a profit and loss statement now. Just before I ask you a few questions about this, NetSuite's ability, look, we give you over 100 reports out of the box. And those 100 reports, like for instance, this is your standard profit and loss report. But if I want to do this profit and loss report and I want to show this out by department, I can just click on this, the columns over here, and I can refresh that report, and that will add departments across the top. So now I've got my P&L and I can departmentalize it. So I can slice and dice this data very quickly in any way I want to. If I want to add foreign currency and so forth, I'm able to do that just by customizing the report. Very easy to customize the report so you can get the foreign currency in there. And a lot of our customers, particularly a lot of the wholesale distribution customers, are dealing in Chinese yuan and so forth. And I can just come across here, I can add a column, and I can type the word foreign and search for it, and then just add that to report. So very, very easily can I get around these reports and actually customize and slice and dice that data how I choose. So tell me, these are the sorts of things that I really like about NetSuite's reporting. What are some of the things that you like about the reporting from NetSuite?
Yeah, look, Nigel, as CFO, I try to stay out of the detail, but I'm quite a detailed person. But sort of what I like about the reports, it can give as much or as little detail as you need to make decisions. So I mentioned earlier, data's power. If trends are not going the right way, I can quickly drill within 2 or 3 clicks to the transactional level, and I can be asking the right questions of my team to see what's happened. So you've quickly gone in here, and I think you're probably up to click number 3 or 4.
Yeah, click number 3.
I was able to see that the invoice that was raised on the 1st of the 9th, what that's all about. So if that was a $100,000 invoice or whatnot, I could quickly get information on that, so I can be doing checks as CFO, try not to get into the detail, but very quickly you've got the out of the box reports. I'm 3.5 years into the role, and I'm learning something every single day, but from almost day one, I was able to very quickly understand sort of the standard reports are out of the box, but then I can build my own for how I want to run the company.
Yeah. So one of the common things that you often look at is like budgets versus actuals versus maybe last year and
correct.
things like that as well. And
looking for trends. It's all about looking for trends. So that was visually shown on the dashboard, but then I can also set up reports that is going to show me how we're going this month, how we're going year to date, how we're going against budget, how we're going against last year, 2 years ago. The world's kind of your oyster with NetSuite.
yeah. Yeah, that's very true. So I've just opened up, for instance, just to talk about or quickly demonstrate how James was saying you can go from the high level, report right down to a transaction level. I've just opened up the budget versus actual. If I want to get to an invoice, I can click on this sales, and the sales one's over here, and I can just go straight into an invoice, and I'm in that invoice within 2 or 3 clicks. Once I'm into that invoice from there, I'm really able to get in there and start, like if I want to ring the customer up and thank him for his business or chase him up for payment or whatever it is, all that information is captured in the one spot. So it's not just that you're in the invoice.
You've got everything in one spot.
All that information's in the one spot. That's exactly right. And it's one of the things that I've noticed when I'm selling to customers, they really appreciate that from their dashboard. Really 90% of their jobs within 3 clicks of their dashboard,
yep.
And that's just makes life so much easier.
Definitely.
So you also do talk about expenses a lot. Expenses is probably one of your key things that you talk about. I don't know if that's common amongst CFOs, but I know it's common amongst you.
I'm an auditor by background. Process-wise, expenses is an area of potential risk for the business. I want to know sort of what expenses our employees are incurring. I want to make sure that the information, there's none of this manual expense forms that might get lost or take forever to be approved. You got my dashboard up here that shows that I've got one expense that my financial controller raised this morning that I can quickly click into. If you just click into the transaction itself, Carmen should have attached the invoice there, and it would normally be attached, but it's all there available. There's the workflows have it such that I'll approve it. I actually, from a business perspective, I approve every single one of JCurve Solutions employees' expenses, so it all comes through me after being approved by the manager. So it's just, there's an automated sort of workflow that we go through. None of this, it's all within the system. We don't have reams of paper. We're actually a pretty paperless company because we use NetSuite.
So probably one of the things that you hit on there is that, like Carmen, you said that Carmen should have attached the invoice to the record here. One of the things that NetSuite can do is attach files to every single record within the system. So whether that be your employees where you need to have their contracts, whether it be your vendors where you need to have their terms, agreements and terms and so forth, that can all be there. If you're selling liquids and you need to attach MSDS sheets, you'll notice that you've got this files tab here, and this files tab allows you to attach any document. That can be videos, that can be documents, PDFs, Word documents, whatever you like, to any particular file.
Yep.
So once again, in the one spot, it's really easy to make sure that all the information that you require is at your fingertips. Right. If you're looking for the first aid certificate of one of your employees, you just go to that employee record, pull up his files, and there's your first aid certificate. And if that needs to be updated every 12 months to get redone or something like that, you can set a task around that to continue doing that. Right. So it reminds you.
So we don't have files and folders left, right and center through the office. It's all there. It's all in one spot.
Yeah. So NetSuite, one of the things that people often talk about is NetSuite really shines when it comes to the speed that you can get tasks completed. How does this help you? And probably leading you down sort of like month-end period close and things like that. How does the speed of NetSuite and the ability to automate things, how does that help you?
Look, in terms of a couple of ways, it's allowed me to run a relatively lean finance team because we're able to automate a number of tasks. So we're automating journals such as depreciation, amortization, foreign currency translation. We can automatically have particular journals reversed at month end. It's about scheduling and being smart about how we do things. So it's really that automation of journals, automation of reports. At month end, I could theoretically have reports sent to me or sort of sent to my executive team on the fourth day of the month, and I could actually be on holidays, and yet month end would still be done, and the reports in a professional format would be sent to our executive team or even the board. So it's about we've got month end checklists. It's about setting stuff up properly. Doing stuff in a timely manner. You've got up here on screen, Nigel, the period end close checklist. So I can at any one point in time be seeing how my team is going through month end.
And even if you weren't here, as they complete different tasks in this period, they close off AR or they close off AP, you could be getting notifications that's been happening as well. So even without being there, you can actually be told that this is how you're going. So you can always be, I guess, a step ahead of everybody else in as far as you know exactly what's going on in your business at any one time.
It's setting up, as you said earlier, the reminders, the tasks. It's about sort of planning out our time. So JCurve Solutions, our month-end process for a number of entities, that can take 2 or 3 weeks. We're done by day 3, so I'm looking forward and making smart business decisions rather than sort of waiting 1 or 2 weeks to get the reports and then looking in the rear vision mirror.
Yeah, I know one of the customers that we have do a lot of business overseas and use a lot of different currencies and so forth, and they mentioned that the foreign currency revaluation and so forth in NetSuite is just
one click. Close the period off and it happens.
And comes back in the next period as a new value.
There's no manual calculations. There's no errors that can be made. You set up your predefined rules, and NetSuite's looking at exchange rates and looking at databases. So lots of time saved.
Yeah.
Time and cost.
So one of the reasons you said earlier that we chose NetSuite was the ability of NetSuite to encapsulate our whole business. Now, our whole business is not that complicated, I suppose, but we've got financials, inventory management, we do projects with the implementation of NetSuite into other businesses and so forth, and Rio. We do sales, we've got CRM and marketing. I suppose it's a lot of different areas to look after, and I guess the CFO, all of that comes into numbers and stuff for you, right?
Data.
So how does this NetSuite being a single source of truth, how does that help you in your activities?
Look, it's a proper ERP solution, an ERP solution, enterprise resource planning software to manage all parts of your business. So within a couple of clicks, I can not only be checking on how my finance team are going from an accounting perspective, I can see how the project team are going. I can see how the sales team are going with their opportunities. It's information. It's data that I can easily access within a couple of clicks. It allows me to almost I could spend most of my day within NetSuite and not need to go to other pieces of software that are external to the NetSuite.
Yeah, and I suppose, having all that information in the one spot, we sort of touched on this before, but, I've just opened up an invoice here for John Rapid, and, you can see here that, Carmen has sent an email out to John Rapid, today, and if I look at the activities, we rang him up and I think we thanked him for his business, and you can see all that in the one sort of spot. And one of the things that I've probably been using, I don't know if, the audience has noticed I'm using this, but for instance, if I want to find this customer information, let's say, for instance, James, he hasn't paid his bills or whatever else, and you've got to get on the phone to him, or as you probably do ask me to get on the phone to him. I can quickly open up his dashboard here, and I can tell, and the dashboard is something that as a CFO, you can sort of set up to go, what is the information I want to know about this customer? And one of the things I've noticed that we've got down here is how many average days does he take to pay a bill? What's his average days overdue on bills and so forth? So it's very easy from a snapshot perspective to see that information in the one spot.
It's as I said earlier, data. Data's powerful. I can, for example, this customer I might not be offering as generous a credit terms. I can quickly, if needs be, in a month's time he still hasn't paid, I can get into his customer record and very quickly it happens, send a letter of demand, or I've got all that information, that the tasks, the emails that have been sent, his contracts. within 5-10 minutes, I've sent off a letter of demand because the information's there.
Yeah.
I've got confidence in the information.
We could also set that letter of demand up to go automatically as well. So if
Theoretically, we could, yeah.
120 days or something, we could, or in your case, 5 days is when you start to think people should pay. So
yeah, and we do. We set up weekly from NetSuite we schedule basically emails to run to the customers if they haven't paid their bills.
Yeah, exactly right. So what type of things do you automate in NetSuite? Is there anything that you think that a successful CFO should be looking to automate?
Yeah, look, CFOs are traditionally time poor. The role of the CFO continues to evolve. We're no longer bean counters that just present information. I want to be spending, as I mentioned earlier, we finished our month-end reporting within day 3. I'm sending off my automated month-end reports to my executive team on day 4. During the week, I've got scheduled reports set up. For example, Wednesday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I get a debtor report. So the first thing that I do on a Wednesday morning, got in my email account, the debtor report. So that's what I look at. I've got customer list, custom accounts sent automatically set up at month end. I've got income statements set up. I've got sales listings set up on a weekly basis. It's all about however you want to cut and slice and analyze your business, you can set stuff up to run.
Yeah, okay. So James, we're a publicly listed company and that comes with its own set of, I guess, issues that we need to navigate as a company being publicly listed. And I notice you're pretty big on the segregation of duties in your team.
Yeah.
So what sort of things have you set up to give, whether it be our shareholders or our board or, even employees within the business, what sort of things have you set up for them to give them some confidence?
Yeah, so we've got very strong corporate governance and we're, from our process perspective, very, very tightly controlled. So be it access levels. So for example, I want to make sure that I'm reviewing journals and reviewing the results. So my CFO role, I can't actually go in and create journals. Similarly, I've got my accountant can't go and approve journals or approve bank transfers or sort of approve payments. They can load the payments and load the journals, do the journals, but I want to make sure that they are processes where we're top notch. That it means that when our auditors come in, they can get the information they need quickly and sign off and hopefully not pay too large an audit fee. We've also got down the bottom of your dashboard, or my dashboard here, we've got basically an access sort of a change log to show who's got what access, and I can very quickly on my dashboard see whose role has been changed.
So NetSuite does have a complete audit trail. So if someone goes in and changes the figure on an invoice and they've changed it from $10 to $20, one, you can see when they've changed it, you can see who's changed it, and it's all there. So when you log into NetSuite, it's everything is audited, so we know who does it, when they do it, what computer they do it on. And I know, so for instance, when you look at this, for you, it's all about access. You want to make sure that, say, for instance, I don't have access to go in there and
the CFO role,
CFO role operations and look at, different things. So that's why you on a dashboard like this, you'd be looking at, has there been any changes in anyone's permission of their roles, and who does it affect and what does it do?
It's just visually looking at my dashboard and seeing if things make sense. So trying to reconcile if something we've made a change to role access.
Yeah. So that sort of thing is one of those things where it's probably, maybe it's not that exciting, but when someone goes in there and changes things and you didn't know they could even do that, that's when something like this is really...
Putting it up in lights rather than having it lost in the detail behind the scenes.
Yep. So I guess, probably the final question I've got is, why is NetSuite, or why do you believe NetSuite is the right solution for JCurve?
For JCurve and our customers, for 4 reasons. So as I mentioned earlier, data, real-time access to data. So as we said, if we've got connection to the internet, we've got the most up-to-date data possible. Usability. So as Nigel's showing here, it's really easy to almost have it out of the box, but you can customize as much as you need.
And I'm not technical at all, and I can get around this.
It's I'm a very visual person, so visually, sort of as a CFO, I'm time poor. I want to be able to see trends. We've got colors, the nice colors there, movement, schedules, changes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Scalability. So NetSuite, we are the only NetSuite partner that has access to the JCurve ERP Small Business Edition. NetSuite's a software that can grow with your business. So we can, for as little as $299 a month for one user, all the way up to a multi-million-dollar company. So it's software that grows with your business. Not only the cost, also the time of implementing and growing and all that kind of stuff. It can all happen with clicks of a button within NetSuite. And the last one we touched on, single source of truth. So we can't go and change information within NetSuite. There's an audit trail, there's the system information. I could spend my whole day within NetSuite and get every bit of information that I need. So it is really the single source of truth. So that's 4 reasons why I think NetSuite, why we use it as our software, but also why we as a solution provider, and a growing one at that, that's why it's our software of choice, our solution of choice.
James, I really appreciate your time. That was great. I think hopefully everyone's got a lot out of that. Thank you once again. And guys, please contact us at your convenience, and we can talk a lot about these some of these other questions you've got at length.
Certainly. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.